So once you have completed as much knitting as your pattern tells you you need to do, you need to know how to cast off your stitches. So again, all of my stitches are on the left hand needle. The right hand needle is doing the work. So to begin with, you're just going to knit 2 stitches as normal, but you're not going to carry on knitting the rest of the row because now you're going to cast off. So you're going to take your left hand needle and put it into the first loop that you knitted. Now this can be a bit tricky to begin with, but you'll get the hang of it. So now I've got my left hand needle in that stitch. I'm going to lift it over that needle at the front. Now you might find it useful just to hold that stitch to stop it going off as well. And I'm going to lift it like that and then pull that off. So that means I've now cast off 1 stitch. So again, I'm knitting, but this time I'm only knitting 1 stitch. So then again, taking my needle into that first loop that's on the needle and taking it over the one at the front and then sliding that off. So this is casting off. So again, I'm just knitting 1 more stitch, needle into that back loop, take it over the one at the front and slide that off. Now what you'll see start to happen at the back here, this is where your knitting is now going to be coming off your needles. So again, knit a stitch the same as you did before, needle into that back loop and lift it off and over the one at the front and off the needles. And this is what you're going to do all along the row until finally, in a moment, you're going to end up with just 1 stitch left. And when I get to that point, I will show you what you're going to do with it. So remember, to begin the cast off, you need to knit 2 stitches. But once you have cast off your first stitch, you're then only ever knitting 1 stitch, so that you always end up with 2 stitches on your right hand needle. So now here we are. These are my last 2. So again, I'm going to lift that one over and off. So now I'm only left with 1 stitch. So what I'm going to do now is just take my scissors. Now I always like to leave a reasonable tail because it makes it a bit easier to sew it in later on. So I've now cut the wool from the ball. So all I'm going to do is bring it through that loop and pull it. And there you can see, this is what I mean when I say when you knit every row, it's called garter stitch, and that's what your knitting will look like. So, happy knitting.